Good morning everyone. I'm Sridhar Guna. I'm here to present the work of Marcus Gordon. It's on accelerating mobile applications through flip-flop replication. This work won Best Paper Award in Mobesys 2015. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah. So mobile applications are limited by their compute power and network bandwidth. That is when most of us feel frustrated that the application is lagging. So what can we do? What can we know that mobile is bounded by its compute power and the device form factor. So, but what can we do in order to get rid of these two limitations? Can we offload the data to server? That is one of the choice, of course, but it comes with its own limitations. So the first one is it is very difficult to predict which parts of the applications need to be offloaded to the server. In order to do that, you need to do thorough profiling of all the applications with different workloads, which is quite difficult to do. So, and one of the other limitation is it is not necessarily dependent on the server. Sometimes your LTE connection or Wi-Fi connection through which you're sending packets to the server could be slow. So offloading is not a complete solution. There could also be pre-existing load on the server, so it is not necessarily providing quality of service all the times. This work presents an alternative approach. It is called Tango, flip-flop replication. This is not to be confused with the Google's Tango project, which is another cool thing which all of you probably need to check out if you haven't yet. So what is Tango flip-flop replication and how does it improve the user perceived performance? So to give a clear picture, I'm just showing the architecture ahead. So there is a mobile and there is server. So you are running the application on both the mobile and server, but you are taking the results of the first available replica in order to provide it to the user. So why is this beneficial? Because any application has these phases. The first one is the user interaction phase, where you press some button or where you press your display, and then it takes those inputs and it goes through a long computation intensive phase, and then it also might go through a network phase where it sends the data to the server like Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. So these are the important phases, but you can see that how is this approach beneficial is in some of the phases your mobile application, like the user interaction phase, mobile application could be better, but on the compute and networking phases your server is much better because it has good computing resources, and also server is connected with the backend like wired internet connection to the web servers, so it also has good internet connection. But you don't necessarily want to partition the tasks and do only certain tasks on this and certain tasks on this because of the limitations which we saw. And so when you are replicating, whichever is leading the application will be the leader and the other one will be the follower, and you need some sort of data transfer between these two replicas in order to synchronize them. Yeah. So let's see what are the important properties of the such an architecture. The first and foremost is both the replicas should give a deterministic output. Given the same inputs, both of them should give the same output. So, and also both of the replicas should be the results of both of the replicas should be able to be updated to the user interface, whichever finishes first. And we also need proper logging and sharing of the data between these two replicas from input and internal and external sources. What are these internal and external sources? Internal sources are something like when there's a process, you do thread scheduling, and there are time inquiries. And external sources are user inputs to the mobile or network inputs which are coming to the device, whether it could be mobile or server. So these things need to be logged and shared between the replicas. And in order to do this implementation, another important characteristic is it has to be processor agnostic. That is, most of mobile devices are running on ARM, whereas the servers are running on x86 architectures. So it has to be processor agnostic. This work uses Dalvik virtual machine of the Android platform. Let's see how it actually helps. So like I said, we need this abstraction for both replicas so that they are independently running on both the mobile device and the server. We have seen this in the previous lectures that there is Dalvik virtual machine which is sitting in the Android runtime. It is so each application creates its own virtual machine, and it behaves like it is having all the resources. So why is this beneficial? Because of two things. It guarantees deterministic results, because everything now we are dealing is at the virtual ISA level, not the ISA like ARM has different ISA and x86 has different ISA, but we are dealing with the virtual ISA level of the Dalvik virtual machine. And the other thing is we can choose to run which applications we need Tango, and we can take out some of the applications which we don't want to run on Tango. So let's see the architecture. So as I have shown this figure before, so on the right side is your mobile device and the left side is your server. So you have the first thing which you probably notice is there is application state, UI stack and file system, which is replicated both on the server replica and the client replica. You can reason with the application state and file system because they are probably needed. But why do we need UI stack? Because Dalvik virtual machine actually interacts a lot with UI stack. Although not all those interactions go to the user, only therefore we actually need UI stack because it can reduce if the UI stack is not included in both the replicas, you'll probably have to communicate a lot, and there is a cost of round trip latencies. But let's see the architecture first. This is where the client is the leader, that is your mobile is leading the application. This is probably during the initial phase of your application where you are feeding in the inputs. So you have UI state sensors which are taking the inputs and giving it to the replica, and those are all internal non-deterministic log which will be sent to the server replica, and then your server performs the computation intensive phase or network intensive phase and sends back the results. Whichever is leading the current, in this case, will be also a situation where your server is leading the task during the computational intensive phase. Yeah, let's actually see how it is improving these figures clearly say on your right side is the normal execution when the native applications are running on your Android device. Initially you have a user input and then you have a long computation intensive phase and then you get an UI upgrade. But in case of Tango, you have client replica and server replica. So first the Tango user gives the Tango architecture and input, and then after the user interface phase, the leadership goes from the client to the server, because in the computation intensive, you can see that all these computations are being compressed into that smaller chunk because the processor is much faster over there, and it is sent back. You can ask me if you have any questions. And similarly for the network intensive phase, you can see that here in the central you have web server. In case if you are using your mobile application to perform lot of web accesses, so you have a R1 read request and then data one, which takes quite a long round trip latencies. But in case of Tango, like after user interface, you can see that all these are very small round trips, because there is a good internet connection between the server and the web server. So the implementation of this work was done on the modified Dalvik virtual machine. It was on Cyanogen mode Android 4.2, and they use Samsung Galaxy for mobile device and Intel i5 processor for server. They have made the source code available, so you can go ahead and check actually. And the paper also talks in detail about managing thread scheduling, and the native methods and their invocation, how the leadership switches between the mobile and the server, and it also talks about the server, what happens when there is a server fault. These are all detailed implementations which you can go ahead and look if you are interested. Something interesting about thread scheduling is even the thread scheduling is deterministic. Oh, cool. Let's go ahead and see the evaluation. So for evaluation, they use 2 computation intensive and 5 network intensive benchmarks. Computation intensive, I am just showing you one of them, Poker. So you can see that this is the baseline, which is the only pure mobile, and the dark ones are with the Tango with different network latencies. You can see that in a Wi-Fi connection you have like 2 to 3x speed up in case of computation intensive, and in case of network intensive applications you can get up to Tango has seen from 0 to 2.6x speed up. And coming to the power consumption, it is either same or slightly better. And to summarize, Tango accelerates mobile applications by replicating their execution on the remote server. Tango reduces the latency perceived by the user, and Tango works on unmodified applications that run on Dalvik virtual machine on Android devices. And it has some limitations, like it was not designed for multi-core systems, and there was significant engineering work which had to be done than expected before. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
Great job. We have time for 3 questions, 3 technical questions. Anybody?
No, actually, for certain applications, it didn't provide any speed up. This is not the speed up of the Instagram application which I'm showing. This is for all the applications. The range was from 0 to 2.66 speed up.
What is a 0x speed up?
It is no speed up actually.
Okay, what is a 1x speed up?
Okay, in that sense, yeah. Thank you for correcting.
May just be like my lack of knowledge, but what is the baseline as opposed to Tango itself?
Baseline is the native unmodified Android application which is running on your device.
Okay.
And Tango is where you have both the one running on your device and other running on your web server, but you are using only the fastest replica at a given time.
Why do we use replicas? Why don't we just send stuff to the cloud to the server to do, and then have the server do stuff?
Like offloading? Yeah, like in my second or third slide, I showed the limitations that we cannot really predict at which phases of the application we need to send this data. So,
Can you go to slide 10?
okay.
So in this, the server is always faster.
Yeah,
So then why are we doing computation on the client? Like we know it will always be faster.
yeah, good question. So, let's say there is a network latency suddenly. Suddenly you came out of your Wi-Fi to the LTE zone. So in order to send this data back to the client, it might take some time. But you want to still provide quality of service. If in case it takes lot of time, you still want the fastest result which is available.
Okay, that's enough for questions, I think, because we have to move on. Let's give him another round of applause.